But still, the best can be better. That is what actually LCI International is planning too. Today, we have a wonderful speaker, a speaker who is the chief of the technology of LCI International, who joined with the LCI International Group office in June 2021, who is having 14 years of experience in external consultancy in performance management and technical ground, 20 years of giving online internal consultancy. She is from Chicago and she works for non-profit organizations, an expert in this field of these algorithms and the digital world. Just imagine, she flew all the way from Chicago to this ISAME forum to talk to us what is going to happen in the next year, 2023-24, in the digital platform of LCI International. I'm sure that this is going to be a revelation to you and me, a mind-blowing experience to all of us. So put your hands together and welcome the Chief of Technology of LCI International, Susan Bell, to talk to you about evolving Salesforce, evolving digital experience. Over to you.
So much. Okay, am I on? Thank you so much. It's been quite a while since I've been here. Actually, it's been about 13 years since I've been, but in 2000 to 2008, I was doing quite a bit of work, and I was here about 8 or 9 times in that period, but I have never been here, so it's a new place for me, and I'm happy to share with you today something new that's happening for you. I think some of you may feel it's happening to you because it is a change in our technology, but we're here to talk about that today. As I said, I am the Chief of Technology. I have an amazing team of folks that I work with that are just excited because they are seeing the future. They're excited about the technology, but most importantly, they're excited about what this can bring to the Lions. Many of the folks that work on my staff have been here for many years when we haven't made the investments in technology, and we've kind of tried to put things together, but we haven't made it a very good experience for Lions. And that hasn't been serving the Lions well. So we're going to talk about what's happening in the future. And it's actually going on right now. We're calling this an evolution. We are not having a massive change launch that we're not talking with people about. I think from understanding previous changes or bringing out an upgrade to my LCI or my Lion, it just showed up one day and people didn't really know about it. And that's one of the reasons that we're really working today to talk about what does our digital experience look like. And this is a little bit bigger group, but at smaller groups, I've asked, who uses my Lion, my LCI in this room? Okay. Do you look forward to using my Lion and my LCI because it's an amazingly stable, wonderful experience today?
No.
Usually we get quite a few no's. We've had problems with stability. We've had problems with registration. We have problems because most people like to do things on their phone or their tablet. They're not tied to their big PCs anymore, and that's not mobile friendly. So we've got to catch up, and we really decided to take a look with the feedback that we've been hearing for the past years from the Lions and from our Leo brethren, who have been very underserved because the original applications were really built for Lions, and then we kind of put Leos in there, and it really doesn't work to help the Leos. And those who are Leo advisors or sponsoring Leo clubs. So we talk about our one account, one portal. And if you go to my Lion account to log in today, you'll log in and you get this screen that you come to and you think, this is going to be a pretty easy thing. It looks modern, it looks fresh. And then you go to the next place and you start to see what we're dealing with. If any of you were our DGs that were at Brian's session yesterday, one of the biggest problems we have is we do not have one system. We have a system for membership, it's called Aptify. We have a system that collects donations. We have a system that collects service. If you call member services, they have a system that tries to take care of you there. We have many other kind of halfway systems. Pardon? Learn is in there. That's kind of in another place. And oh, by the way, and Learn then goes to the online classes place. And oh, when you get to some other things, you have to go over to here to go shop and get club supplies and so forth. And worse off, sometimes we send you to the website. Anybody ever apply for a grant here? Any districts? Okay, you go to the website to apply for a grant. You work in a PDF or a Word document, and you spend all your time emailing things all around. You have to call people at the foundation to find out what's going on. There's no place where you can see what the status of your grant is. If you're making visits, you can't see your donation history. You have to call somebody in the foundation and say, what's going on here? You know, what's happening? I thought my person is telling me they just made the next level of Melvin Jones. What's their...
I never get the proper reply.
You can't get any of that information. That's because all of the data is in multiple systems. And even more important,
Six of them now, not five.
yeah, there's more.
But it's six.
There's actually about 15 if you count them all, but there's 5 big ones that you know. More importantly, we have other systems that are completely separate. So if you call the Member Service Center, they don't know who you are. They're trying to look you up in another system. They have no idea where you are, so there's a lot of back and forth there. Clubs cannot see donation history. Districts can't see it. Chair people for the foundation that are working and the advocates in the areas can't see that information without calling and getting it from them. You can't. Yeah. We can't see individual awards and recognitions. You have to keep track of that at your club level. If your district governor's coming, one of the big things they want to do is they say, I need a report of who just got awards. I want to be able to recognize them. And once again, we talked a little bit about the grants and so forth. So what we're really focusing on today is evolving this journey, and I'd like to play a message from our international president, Brian Sheehan.
Over 40 years ago, I began my career in technology, but back then, our computers were big. They took up entire rooms, but today, everything fits in my pocket. Needless to say, I've seen technology evolve and change throughout the years. And today, at Lions International, we're hard at work evolving the digital experience that helps you and your fellow Lions get things done. Let me tell you what we have planned. We'll be combining My Lion, My LCI, and Insights into a unified member digital experience. To put it simply, we're making sure everything you need to take care of business looks and works the same way. That means more consistency and more efficiency, making it a better experience for you. And we're not doing this alone. We're gathering your feedback through surveys and panels and social media to help make sure we're evolving to meet your needs. We're planning to introduce this evolved digital experience in 2023, and we'll be sharing updates along the way. I'm looking forward to taking this important step with you together.
I don't know how many of you know this about Brian, but he is a tech guy. He owns a tech consulting company. So having him in the corner saying he believes it, believe me, he was grilling us on this. So very excited that we're making this significant investment for the future. So where are we headed? We have actually been on this journey for about the last 9 months very actively behind the scenes. We announced that we were going to be making this investment at our convention in Montreal, and we have been starting and working through different things since then. The first part we are in is designing. What is it that we need to do? How does it need to work? How can it function? And then, rather than old school development, because we're configuring the software, we're able to preview and get feedback from a group of people that we've asked as volunteers. And we are looking at the feedback, not just from random people, but we have groups, because we know that people use our tools differently. Whether you're a district governor, a club secretary in charge of service, you're a zone chair, or you're working with the foundation, people have different needs in different ways. So we're working with how does the product work for them as well as for the individual line. And those sessions are starting right now. We're just starting to get those introduced. Some of you may have been contacted to participate in them on that. From that, we look at how to refine it. We know that we're not going to please every single person with exactly what they would like to see. Even Facebook can't do that, okay? You got the lovers and the haters. But we can make it functional based on the needs of most and how that works. And that's why we're looking specifically for feedback from our line partners. Then we have a function of getting folks to learn and train in the system. We'll talk a little bit about that. What we are looking at right now is we have about 120,000 active users of My LCI and My Lion. These are the people who do the major work of the club, whether it's reporting rosters, getting a new club chartered, service chair, putting in service, doing shop, getting supplies for the club, getting pins and so forth, new member kits. These are the folks that we need to bring along first in this journey, because they are already consumers of our systems. And they will be the first that will have the opportunity at launch to adopt a new system. But we will have a preview starting 3 months before the launch of the actual system. It will be a practice area. It will have data in it. You will be able to go in there. You will be able to follow the help and the learning and the self-guided tools that we have and provide feedback on that so that you are prepared. We will also be holding virtual webinars. It's not possible to do all in-person training. We're working also very closely with many of our GAP leaders who are very instrumental in also helping to spread the word and help clubs and so forth. And we have identified key individuals who are in IT roles at a district or an office level who will also be able to help. We have a lot of challenges being a global organization, one being 24 hours a day. The system will always be available 24 hours a day, but we also have this little thing called language. So we also need to be able to address folks with language and with the help of our office and our translation staff and so forth. So, as we said, what we're doing is we're taking all of these things and we're putting them together, but the real power is coming from, we are consolidating the data. All of that data that's in different places, and sometimes you see it doesn't match. You'll look at yourself in one place or you'll look at something and the data doesn't match. It's because it's in different places. So as we consolidate the data, it has the purpose of helping us with our data, but also it allows us to focus on one area to secure as opposed to 5 areas or 6 databases to secure. Security is very, very critical. Data privacy and data privacy rules are becoming increasingly more stringent. The hackers and the bad actors are becoming more threatening every day. And the more doors we have to the house of your data, the more vulnerable we are. So this is also helping us improve the security and privacy of our data. If we take a look at it, we are evolving the capabilities that you have today. I can add members, I can add clubs, I can transfer members, I can drop members, I can apply for grants. We are not revolutionarily adding huge new amounts of new functionality at launch. However, I like to use the analogy that we are building a solid house. We're moving from our old house to our new house. And the new house has a very good foundation that is poured for it, that is ready to take on new things, new capabilities, new desires of our members and our staff. But we have to move from the old house to the new house. And we're calling this an evolution more because how many people have ever moved from one house to another house?
Many times.
Okay.
Many
All right.
times.
Okay. So you have to get your new house ready to go, right? So you're ready. Then you have to pack all your belongings in your old house. Consider that the data, right? Got to get all that, get the moving, and get it moved over. And then you get to the new house. And maybe it's that bigger house that you wanted. Okay, I'm a little older, so I'm dreaming of a smaller house now that my children are old, are moved out. But it's a new house. It still has a kitchen. And the kitchen still has refrigeration and cooking and cabinets. The cabinets may not be exactly in the same spot, but you know what? You're going to figure out where the silverware is and where the pots and pans are, and you're going to figure where the bedroom is, and there's going to be a bed in the bedroom. It's not going to be that radically different. It will be a change, and hopefully you'll see it as a change for the better, with simplicity, availability on mobile devices, as well as inline help that you don't have to go searching for. And one of the ways that we're able to do that is because we're building this on the Salesforce platform. I'm not sure how many might be familiar. We have a lot of people that I've heard on our social media groups that are like, ooh, cool, it's Facebook. I use that at work. I love Facebook. Or not Facebook, Salesforce. I love it. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Are there any people that are familiar with Salesforce here in this area? So they are actually the #1 dominant software as a service provider for the last 10 years in constituent relationship management. They started with customer relationship and they have expanded. They have a big footprint in the NGO world and very specific software that's developed for NGO and membership type organizations. So we're already started with a great foundation. And the thing that is changing for us on the back end that really helps you is we were in a custom development mode before. We wrote code. We had third-party people who wrote code for us. And if it takes 100 hours to do something, to write code to do something, it takes about an hour to configure an application like Salesforce to do the same function. What that means is we're able to do more things. One of the things about MyLion, the vision for MyLion was spot on. it was never able to be realized because of the investment that it would have taken and the number of hours that it would have taken to do that. And therefore, very little new functionality came out after launch. It took a long time for bugs to get fixed because we were trying to do it ourselves. And by partnering with an organization like Salesforce, it gives us that foundation. Even 3 times a year, Salesforce will add new functionality to the software. We may adopt it. They do many things that are really great. They improve the reporting capabilities, or they improve the speed, or they do. We don't, as part of our contract, we get that. We also have the ability to continue to modify and develop our own things. So it gets us into a modern software as a service, and also it is hosted in their cloud. It's called cloud application, which means they have better data center, better security, better performance, better patching, better management and access. So people would say to me, what would happen if all 1.4 million Lions tried to log into my Lion today? It would crash and burn. It can't do that. When we move to Salesforce, if we get to 1.5 million Lions next year, let's have them all log in on the same day because it's not going to crash and burn. We are buying that scalability and that stability too. And that is a big benefit to our members who have been struggling with that. So how do we get there? Together. We need your help. One of the things we need is your input, and we need your involvement. The best way you can get involved is to help us understand how in your club, your district, your constitutional area, your specialty clubs that may have it, how do you use technology? And when we talk about using technology, we're not talking about using My Lion and My LCI. We know you all use a lot of technology to manage your clubs. You're connected with social networking. You may have developed your own web pages. We have some organizations that have foundations at their district levels. They have developed software to help with their fundraising for their foundation at their district. We're asking you to take part in our survey. I have cards here. You can take some with you. It has the QR code. Use them, give them out to people. We have extras that are at the booth for these, and we have them both in English and Hindi. So please take some and come and grab them. But the best thing you can do is to get yourself into this and take the survey. There's a couple of things that you can do. We want your feedback, but more importantly, we want to know if you want to be one of those people who is involved, who gets to see the preview, has the time to actually give us during that refine period feedback. You can let us know. There will be a question to say, do you want to be contacted for this? We can't have everybody involved, but the other thing is we will also have communications that will go out only to the people who ask for the communications related to this project. Okay? We have some people, there's all kinds of restrictions about who you can send emails to with their permission. We're a global organization, so we have to respect that. We have a number of people in other parts of the world, clubs, that they automatically opt all of their members out of receiving communication, so we don't have a way to contact them. If you do want to stay informed with us reaching out to you, please do let us know and give us the email address if you would like to be contacted after that. We also, if you missed that, we've got a new launch to our new digital products page. This is going to start moving very quickly, starting in January, previewing how is the registration going to work, what's the portal going to look like, what's the branding going to be, how do I navigate the system, how do I set my language preference. It will be available in the languages. That is a big hurdle. Our translation department is going, oh my gosh, there's a lot to translate on that. That is available if you go to lions.org and you look for, just search for digital products. They've made it so this page will come up first for you. You can see right there is Brian's video. So if you'd like to be able to share that with other folks, we've actually started sharing the link to this page on many of the Lions groups. If you have a local Lions group on Facebook or WhatsApp or through Instagram or something, feel free to share the link to that webpage. People can get informed and get to know what we're up to at this point. So, and check back because we will be continuing to update it as the project goes on. Also, some of you who use my Lion account may recognize this page, but it's shifted and changed a little bit. We have added a new little banner over there just to remind you, if you happen to use these applications, there's going to be change and you can get here. That will actually be a place once we move to the new system, and I can talk a little bit more about it with you guys because we actually just figured this out since Europe. So the people in Europe, when I was in Europe, I didn't get to know this information. But that's the account sign-in page. Also, we want to hear your questions. And I'm going to take questions in just a couple of minutes, but there's many that have come in already. Everybody wants to know, when is this happening? This is targeted to happen, as we call it, with the change of the Lion year. Our convention is our final piece of closing the year out because we elect our international directors. And we take a look at the final member numbers for any redistricting that needs to be done at the end. So it will be somewhere between the 15th and the 24th of July in that time frame. So we've been telling people mid-2023, so we're in about a week's range now. We're also getting asked, will my sign-in change? The reason people are asking about this is the process of signing up for a My Lion account. If you remember that process, you probably do not remember it fondly in any way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, you will need to receive a new account. Passwords cannot be moved from system to system. However, we know who you are if you're a user. We know your profile. We know your security. We know your access. One thing we need to know is your email address. We still have some people who use a mobile number. They don't use any. We need your email address because what we will do is we will pre-register you in the system. This will generate an email to you and only you. It will have a link. When you click on that link or copy and paste it, it will take you to a page that says set your password because you will be setting your password for the new system. And once you do that and confirm, we've all done that for a lot of other sites in the world, it will take you directly into your profile in the new system. That's the happy path. A lot of things can happen to an email. It can go to a spam filter, it can be in junk, it can go to somebody in your club whose grandchildren, you know, one of your older members' grandchildren said never click any links in an email. Okay, so they're afraid to do that. So there will be path number 2. Path number 2, remember it said learn here when you go to my Lion, when we are going live, that's going to say, click here if you have not registered. If you have actually registered and you click there, it's going to come back and say, hey, we found out you already registered. We're going to send you over there. If it doesn't, it will take your information, find who you are, and take you over to that sign-in page. We will not have the, you have to have an email address come back and your phone number and go multi-factor authentication and know your member number and all those things that were barriers before. So the sign-up, you will get a new account, but the process should be very, very easy for you. Is everybody excited about that? I saw people nodding about the horribleness of it. How will training be done? We got 120,000 people that speak 14 different official languages to train. There's no way we can do it in person in the type of training. So we couldn't assume that that would have worked that way. So we had to look for different ways. We will have in-application help. So when you are in the application, you can click the little help and the little thing will come up and say, do you want help on this page? And it will know where you are. So if you're trying to add a member, it's going to say, watch this video to add a member. Quick little video. Or it's going to say, do you want to have a job aid, in your language come up. So the help will be there. What we will also be doing is we will be taking and recommending, based on what your role is in your club, your district, your multiple district, or at the international level, CA level, what are the things that you need to do? Because we know what people do most often. What does a club secretary do? What does a district governor do? What does a GAT leader do? We have their history of how they use the system, and we will make those training resources available. We will also host virtual webinars for people who are truly interested and want to on topics. And once we go live, we will also have a period of what is called hypercare, because we know no matter how much you contact people ahead of time or try and tell them, some people are procrastinators and they won't be ready until they need to do their early year work. So we will also have ramped up what's called hypercare support, and we will also be hosting more virtual webinars and have virtual office hours where people can call. That actually helps us, especially if we want to try and target areas of the world and have translators for us with that. And our India office will be also helping us along with that too. So, I told you, will the Lion portal be mobile friendly? Yay team, it will be mobile friendly. It's basically like other applications going to shrink itself to the size of your device. I'm not sure that I'd like to fill out a new club charter application on my phone, but I certainly want to look at my roster of my members or get somebody's number or report my service or do some things on my phone. So, some things while you can do it on a phone, it's not likely that you would want to. You more want to do that on a tablet or a PC, just because it's more complicated. Will you be able to access the old products when the new products go live? Like that house, we moved the furniture out of the old house and into the new house. You sold the house to somebody else, they have the keys, you can't go back. It will not be available once we go to the new one. We will be in the new world. I talked a little bit about Salesforce before. It is the underlying technology that we are basing our future on, and it is used by about 150,000 companies across the globe, from huge companies to very small companies, and it has about 40,000 NGOs that use it. If you have questions after this, also on that page it does have the email. You can send us questions, we will respond to you. we really want to know the questions. Those were some of the questions that we know people have answered, have asked us in the past. So I wanted to run through some of them real quickly. And that covers my presentation. Now I would like to open it up to take your questions.
Once, can you go back just the back slide?
Susan, while you're waiting for other questions, will people be able to manage their own member record?
Yeah, we're gonna, okay. Okay, first question was, will people be able to manage their own member record? Not what they want. They can't do it today. And that's a huge burden. There's two things. It's a huge burden on the club secretary or whoever has that role in the club. But the other thing is, from a data privacy perspective, if we can let those members have access to manage their own data, we can comply much more easily with data privacy regulations, including GDPR. The ability to a member to manage their address, their name, their email address, will be a functionality that will be coming out probably in October of next year. However, there will be some restrictions. If you have a family dues plan, you will not be able to change your address, because that's how we identify the households, right? If you don't have a family dues plan, you can change your address. You can't change your title. Sorry about that. You cannot make yourself president of your club. You have to have the appropriate. But the data that matters, and it will also say whether they want to show that data to people and to what level. You know, with my club, with my district, with my neighborhood. So that will be a future thing. And it's one of the reasons we really wanted to get to this platform, is managing the data is very hard.
Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. But you said that it will be active from mid-23. Mid-2023 it will be active.
June end or July?
June 8 or July?
July.
No, but it's from middle, you said middle of 2023 or
Next
something. Yes, okay. Now, what do I do with this QR code you are now saying that you can give to us?
What do I?
This QR code you said.
The QR, it's
Yeah, what do
actually,
I do with it?
there is a survey. It is the technology usage survey, so that we can collect your input or anybody, any other Lions input. It goes into a survey that talks about how do you use technology today.
But if I don't know the technology, how do I comment on how do I give my input?
The survey is actually designed to know what do you use, what do you not use, and it's got open-ended questions. It's about using technology. You don't necessarily have to use My Lion, My LCI. It's like, do you go to our website? Do you have a club website? Do you have, so please try and take the survey if you have questions. With that, you can ask for somebody to contact you with questions about your survey.
So how do I scan the QR code?
On your phone, just like you did with the menus during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So-
Now, another thing is that this setup now that the club officer, president, secretary, and the administrator can do all the changes in my LCI.
Right.
Is the whole thing going to change? The whole setup going to change?
No, the whole thing is, that's what I was trying to.
And another thing is that at the district level, say I'm a district GLT coordinator, I am also a multiple LCI coordinator. So according to my post, I can see certain things. So that part is going to remain like
That's
that.
gonna remain like that, yeah. Yeah, people,
Thank
the things you can do within the system will be focused on the role that you have. And what you can see is focused on the role that you have. We have some other questions?
Good afternoon. In the last migration, when we changed over from year of birth to date of birth, the system took by default 1st of January as the date of birth.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we have updated the data, but not totally.
Yeah.
So will it happen something like that, or it will be migrated as is?
Yeah, I'm laughing about that because a bunch of dates that was birth dates, if they weren't verified birth dates, they changed. And it was because there was some other checkbox, I wasn't with it. We are actually not requiring a birth date unless you're applying for membership, because we have donors and they're not members. They're not going to give us their birth date, so we don't have to do that crazy trick. So we're not doing tricks like that and changing data.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Another thing, while I browse the reports, membership reports, outstanding reports, club performance reports, one data which is very essential for the district administration is outstanding position of different clubs. It's not available on the report portal.
Thank you. Scan. I think
As
English
a
will come.
summary
Just
of
try
the
scan.
particular day.
Right. There will be summary, if I understand your question correctly, you will still be able to see summary information. Actually, the reporting, one thing we get favorable feedback on is insights. Insights actually comes from a data warehouse, and we will be continuing to feed that data warehouse. Actually, the reports and insights will actually be served up through the new portal. You won't have to like jump around to get to them, so they will still be.
No, my question was club billing outstanding.
Billing outside.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Go to the LCI. When you go to the district level, if you're a district officer, you go to the district. Account balances are there, the report.
Everyone can see. Everyone can see.
Go there, you can get age-wise. Up to 30 days.
No, that is available, that is coming in the recap every month.
That is there, that is there for all clubs. You can get all the clubs there.
Yeah.
Entire district you can get it.
Yeah.
If you have multiple operators, entire multiple you can get it. That age-wise you can get it.
Yeah, that you can actually see the individual members.
Browsing.
It depends.
Thank you.
On your role, yeah. But you can see like the clubs and everything.
The individual members' feedback is not given online.
Yeah.
My LCI doesn't have that.
No, they members.
Only the club.
Only the clubs are taken from my LCI.
That's the app in the mobile, my line app.
Yeah.
It is not,
It's gone.
it's gone, that's what I'm.
We actually, and that's a good thing because that happened almost a year ago. It was costing so much money and the usage was less than 10,000 people. And we were spending almost $400,000. And the Google development stack for the mobile app was going to have to be rewritten because Google was abandoning it. So there was a board decision not to continue with that.
Presently that in your main, in our website, myclub.org,
Yeah.
you go and do one keyword, you won't get anything there. But if you go to Google and tell, I want that, I get it.
Yeah.
That's
That one, we can't go, that's a Google, we can't go. But mobile will be back for everything, not just for service planning and reporting.
Thank you, Madam.
Right.
I just want to thank you for your detailed presentation. But new members registering should be little simplified. Otherwise, a lot of people finding it difficult to register and they are not registering, madam.
Yes. We are, like I said, for this initial push, we are focusing on the members who are, we are looking at the registration process. The registration process today is incredibly complicated, very much so. That's one of the things we want, please fill out the survey if you want, because we need to balance security and known identity versus making it so complex that we make it so horrible people abandon it. When we launched My Lion, we had 420,000 members, tried to register, over 300,000 of them never came back. Never came back. That's how bad the experience was.
Madam, today I came to this hall to know more new things, but I got one sad story. The mileage is no more because I have 24,000 followers, 2,500 people I follow. So I got so many friends, the lines in different countries. So this mileage improvement is more better now instead of the complete stopping.
This is from my line?
Yeah.
This will be moved because the new software
It will come like similar.
still has community and following.
Similar, I can meet more people, I can meet all the people, I can communicate like that.
If they want to share their data with you. Remember in my line, you have to say who you want to share your data with as a member. People who say, I don't want to share their data, my data, you're not going to be able to see it. You can't speak to that.
So my LCA is still they're working. We have to report and everything.
Same functions on the new Salesforce platform. Same functions.
Well, I have one question here. What I understand is the Salesforce software, what has been developed, is also used by many corporates across the world. I understand from some of this corporation it is not all that friendly. And the toolkit what they have, you have to be quite expert in using this. Now when you compare to the corporate and to the social organization like us, how friendly it is going to be so that, because what happens is that it is being mostly used by the club secretaries and administrative or president or governor or something. Everyone is not tech savvy in our places. Though you have a very good network connections, everyone is not tech savvy. Though you are going to give training, webinars and so many things, I would just like to know how it is simple as compared to the present system what we have been using in my language.
That's a very interesting question. And just to answer the question, I've heard that Salesforce is complex because I know people and companies who use it. I've been working with Salesforce for different companies for about the last 13 years. One of those companies I work with is a very large, it was called Labs. Okay, they had Salesforce. You would not even recognize that it was Salesforce in other places where I work. Their business were so complex that for anybody to do anything, they had configured the software to fit the 65-step process that a salesperson had to go through to sell something. Salesforce at its core is really very simple. In fact, if you use it what's called out of the box, it's very easy. It's almost as easy to use as Facebook. If you really try and use Facebook to do an event plan, throw an event or have a marketplace, it's that simple. The community feature that you will be using is also a more friendly, modern, clean interface. And a lot of companies, there was an older version of Salesforce when they first started called Classic, and it looks a lot like my LCI. They both came out around the same time. A lot of companies, because they wrote so many complex things into their software, they've never been able to move and take the upgrades. So it is actually simple. What makes things complex, and we are no different, our rules make it complex, okay? We can't have an Alpha Leo register unless we have a parental consent, unless we know their age, unless we've confirmed. That's the complexity. But that's the complexity of the fact that we're working with the youth, and we have laws and regulations. Looking, searching, and so forth, very easy, very much like, it's got the search bar at the top, show you as well. So
We have only 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of you may have questions, but
I will be
we
here.
have to finish the session. Otherwise, take note of the email ID and send the message. But we are asking for a long, make it, yeah.
And nowadays, every small organization also developing their own website. But in the land, district level website is not there. District level. The I also have getting some information, but in previous information, district wise requirements is a big problem. Like in the district website, we want our cabinet members list, we want the minute directory, civil statements. District wise separate website is there. Familiar to all the members and everybody district-wise, previous years, every information is separate website, each and every district is headquarters separate
We can't replace all of the district websites. And part of the reason we're doing the technology surveys, we want to partner with you. If you have a great website, you may want to keep doing that for a lot of reasons. But let's say your club, all they had was an e-clubhouse, right? They never did anything more than that. In the future, there is the ability for us to actually have Salesforce have a public-facing e-clubhouse type, but modern look and feel page to it that we can do. So we're not doing anything with anybody's district, anybody's multiple, anybody's zone, anybody's foundation. If it is run and managed by your organization, we can't touch that. And we can't tell you not to do it. What we're trying to understand is, how can we partner with you? Because many of the things to keep these websites up to date, to have a directory, to have everything, it's becoming very costly to some of these clubs. If you can leverage what we have in the new system, not going to happen day one, but that's why we want to know. This is already paid for. You don't have to pay for this. There's not a new charge. That's what part of your dues come from. So to the degree that we can help augment the things that you need to run your district, or your multiple districts, or a foundation that you might have, we want to help you do that the best way possible and leverage what you do already. We don't want you to make 2 membership rosters. Nobody wants to do that. So.
Susan, every time we move from one software to another software, most of us in offices, the data has to be keyed in personally. So here, are we getting put, or in the clubs will have to keep keying in the data?
That's part of why we need to get to some of you, because that's a choice you guys made, that you made. We do have countries that we actually have feeds with. There are EMMR countries, and most of them are in Europe. We know that. What we don't know are your clubs where you're feeding my LCI today, but you're also feeding a club system, right? So, can you get data? There will be ability to export data with the right permission, I'm going to say that, so that you can load it to your club system. But more importantly, that's why we want to continue to keep the feedback. Once we get through this transition, there's a lot more that we can do for you, and we can do if we know what clubs need to do. So please let us know.
Yeah, thank you, Susan, for that. You may have so many questions to ask, but she's here already. You can personally also ask. But it was a very interactive session. We got some idea, and we have some more cards for the scanning the QR code cards you can collect. Please do participate in the survey and give the feedback to Landsman, because it is going to be launched in